analysis on the humanitarian situation in Gaza from Tommaso, Dela, Longa. He's an official spokesperson for the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. He joins me live on the line from Geneva. Tommaso, I just want to start by mentioning some information that's just been published. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has just released information. It says that, on a normal day, a minimum of 500 aid trucks are required going into the Gaza Strip just to satisfy basic needs. And it says that on a good day, 200 trucks might get in, but actually on a lot of days, that number is less than 10 trucks. So if you do the maths, that's less than 2% of what's considered to be the minimum basic requirement. You don't have to be a genius to do the math on this. If that situation continues, I don't know how long it will take, but an awful lot of people are going to suffer and ultimately die.
Well, thanks a lot for having me today. First, second, what is happening in terms of number of trucks entering to Gaza is less than a drop in the ocean, sincerely speaking. And of course, I don't want to underestimate the importance of having this border crossing open. And also, on our case, I really want to commend the work of Egyptian Crescent on the Egyptian side. They're doing really an amazing work in trying their best to channel this aid toward Gaza. But the reality here is that, as you correctly said, numbers are not enough. We have been saying this since the beginning. This is a drop in the ocean. We need an increased and continuous flow of humanitarian aid. And then, if I may, those 500 trucks per day, barely minimum, I would say, to cover the barely minimum, because this was the number of trucks entering, including commercial trucks, before the conflict, without the needs after 4 months of conflict. At the moment, even that number will not solve for sure the issue, and will not give a proper humanitarian answer to the immense needs of the people in Gaza. So we need an increased and continuous flow of humanitarian aid, and we need it now.
Just to kind of try and boil down the basic process, how this works, just so that anybody watching will understand it in the simplest terms. So if you've got an aid truck and you want to get it into the Gaza Strip, how does that work? You've got all the goods on board. Do you need to call ahead and get permission to take a truck in? Does the truck just turn up at the border and then hope to get across? What's the process?
Yeah, it is exactly what you just said, and I would say that this is, it happens in various contexts where, of course, in a conflict situation, you have to have agreements to move ahead. Humanitarians can do, we can do our utmost, but still we need to have access, we need to have agreement, we have to have green lights, otherwise we cannot do things alone. So there is a check on the trucks, and then the trucks can enter. Now, the point here is, first, the logistics. We're talking about kilometers in the middle of the Sinai Peninsula, and also the fact that on the Rafah side, on the Palestinian side, the trucks need to be downloaded by hands and sometimes reloaded with the trucks or with the whatever is available to bring goods from the border till inside Gaza Strip, and this of course takes time, and it's in a situation where people and organizations are already limited capacity, and staff and volunteers are already overwhelmed by the immense needs of this conflict, and are affecting themselves. So it's a very complex, I would say even convoluted process that needs to be speed up. But again, we need to have more aid. It's simply as it is. More aid is needed because we need to give a proper humanitarian answer to the people in Gaza. And at the moment, I don't think that any one of us is able to do that.
And again, just to clarify what's been a complicated situation, when an aid truck does get in, or is trying to get in, what are the dangers? Are there dangers coming from the outside, from the Israelis? Are there dangers potentially inside? Because you've got some very desperate people there wanting to get their hands on food. They're starving. Where do you see the threats to the people who are actually delivering the aid?
Well, threats, are several different threats or several different issues, I would say. First and foremost is to have safe and uninterrupted access. I just want to give an example. North of Gaza is almost unreachable. We're talking about thousands of people that are not getting anything. And of course, even now with the actual situation in Rafah, but I would say even with the bombardments and the shelling in Khan Yunis, even moving around is very complicated. Organizing and distribution is very complicated. Get access to some health facilities, as we all know, is very complicated. And then, of course, we saw, we've been seeing these, very difficult images of people assaulting convoys or even sometimes warehouses. And of course, this must not happen. But I think that is also the icon of the level of desperation of the people in Gaza. We're talking about father and mothers who don't know how to give food and water to their kids and to their children. So I think that this level of desperation needs to be understood, and this is a reason more why we need to increase the humanitarian aid inside Gaza Strip.
Yeah, couldn't agree anymore. Really appreciate your analysis. My guest, Tommaso Dela Longa, official spokesperson for the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Thank you so much.
Thank you.